big event today in Los Angeles. Jerry Brown came to town to sign the new climate change legislation. It's the follow-up to the 2006 bill brought to us by Arnold Schwarzenegger and Fabio Nunez. Remember all that? Well, it was time to renew it because it's, I guess, 10 years. So it's time to renew it. It was a 10-year bill.
Andrew Mullenbeck is with us, and he endured this press conference. Why do they call it press conference if the press couldn't participate in it?
Yeah, there were no questions taken. We had a couple of questions we wanted to ask the governor, and as soon as he finished his written-out remarks, he bolted from there. He went kind of out of a back exit out of this park. His SUV was waiting there. He got out of there in such a hurry.
His SUV?
Yes.
His SUV was waiting there.
Yeah, that's a good question. Was it? You should have checked it out.
Was it running during the event the way Kevin DeLeon left his running for 2 hours a couple of years ago?
That I didn't see. I actually tried to go to the area where he drove in or rode in, but security would not let us there. I cannot confirm if the vehicle was running.
He should have come in on a horse if he was going to live up to his preachings.
Well, he got out of there so quickly that he actually missed all the photo ops because all of the people there cheering him on for this legislation all stood around and
Who
took
was cheering him on? Like, where were these people from?
Senate pro tem, assembly members.
Oh,
yeah,
for God's sake.
Politicians.
Oh, those slime balls.
They called this a great day for the world, not just California.
A great day for the world. You know what?
We're having an impact.
How can one state of 40 million people have an impact in a world of 7 billion?
Well, that question did not have the chance to come up.
What I object
to ask any.
is he acts like these laws are going to somehow save California from warming.
And the planet.
And that's impossible.
Well,
that's absolutely impossible because we're too tiny. We could all die, and it wouldn't have any difference on the climate around the world.
And if they're that in Arizona stinking up the place, they're right there.
And so now I want you to play the clip, if you have it, of him claiming that the temperature is going to go to 135 degrees.
Oh, I do have it.
Yep.
Yeah, he says if California did not force cuts like they signed into law today, the state could literally get closer to boiling. Now, he predicted a temperature hotter than any other recorded in world history, and here it goes.
If we don't stop climate change, it's not going to be 110 in Imperial County. It's going to be 130, 135, not for a few days or a few weeks, but for months on end. It can become unlivable.
Now, shouldn't he provide evidence of this bizarre, psychotic claim? It's never been 135 in recorded history. And he says soon it's going to be that way for months?
Months on end. I took the occasion to look up what the highest temperature recorded in world history was. If I saw correctly online, it was in Libya, and it was 134. But, yeah, he said it could get up to 135 for months on end here in California without taking the kind of action that they did today.
But when the governor of a state who's imposing all these harsh climate rules, shouldn't the media force him to give scientific evidence that on how the temperature is going to hit 135?
And I have not heard him make that claim before. Maybe he's made it
ridiculous.
up in Sacramento, but with a claim like that, a follow-up question sounds like a reasonable idea.
The biggest doomsayers out there say that over 100 years, the average Earth's temperature may go up 1 to 2 degrees centigrade.
Right.
So how does he get
to 135
Fahrenheit for months on end? That is crazy. That is a sign that
he called the state unlivable at that point.
He ought to be put in a mental institution for claiming that. And nobody stopped him and said, that's nuts. Prove that.
No, and then, like I said,
I'm trying to find this county. What's this county he mentioned in that clip?
Imperial.
Oh, he did say, I thought he said Piro. Oh, Imperial. Oh, yeah, that's way down there at the border. Right. Okay, that's down there at the border next to San Diego County.
He doubled down in a sense because he also took the occasion to call climate change skeptics liars.
These guys deny science, say our drought is not true, they say there aren't forest fires, that floods are not occurring in Florida and New Orleans. That's not true. Anybody who lies like that should not be listened to.
He's lying. He just said it's going to be 135 degrees in Imperial County for months on end.
He did.
He when Hurricane Katrina hit, his crowd claimed that we were going to have more hurricanes, bigger hurricanes than ever before. And for 11 years, no hurricanes hit Florida. None. And no Category 3 hurricanes has hit the United States in those 11 years. So they lied. Al Gore said the North Pole was going to completely melt by now. It was going to be an ocean up there. There's going to be no ice. He's completely wrong. They have lied over and over again with their hysteria.
Yeah, what they do is they just shift to a different argument. They gave up on the hurricane thing when that wasn't happening. They tell you something else is going to happen that's climatic.
So
I have a bit of an awkward moment here at the end from the governor, if you'd like to hear that.
Oh, yeah.
Well,
we love awkward.
Well, I've got it for you. He apparently tries to reference the hymn Onward Christian Soldiers as kind of a battle theme for climate change, but he has a little bit of trouble with it, and here's how that went.
They're all going to fall before the truth of this, what shall I call this? Christian army marching on, or not Christian? Can't say that. Oh, with Jewish warriors standing behind. No, what I was trying to think is Onward Soldiers, and I only know one song. But whatever it's going to take battle, it's going to take wisdom, and it will take some balance that we don't overdo it.
That's Alzheimer's.
Yeah, he's like 76, isn't he? Or
Yeah.
77?
No. That's Alzheimer's.
There's a brain seizure.
Yeah, but he made no sense there.
Onward Christian soldiers
Yeah, but
marching as a war.
it shows you this has become religious fanaticism to him. This whole global warming thing. Nothing but religious fanaticism. Did anybody talk about, because these goals are so drastic, how this is going to impact the average person? Are they going to be hit with gas restrictions, massive gas taxes, rationing, which is what they were trying to pass last year?
Oh, they did talk about how it would impact the average person, and all we heard is the optimistic side, that this was going to create a lot of jobs in clean energy, that kids would no longer grow up with asthma as a result of the emissions that we're spewing out into the air. So those were the impacts that they chose to bring up.
But I'm talking about.
Yeah, what Andrew's saying is they didn't talk about that at all, Jim.
It was a very one-sided.
They're spinning it like it's a wonderful thing if we cut back emissions.
Yeah, I know, but what has to be asked is, because last year they wanted
there was no questions.
They were going to cut
50%.
our gas use by 50%.
Right, and there were Democrats that didn't want that. They fought it.
Right, so is that embedded somewhere here? Are they going to sneak it in through the back door through the California
I think it's
Air
another
Resources
broad
Board?
bill. I think it's another broad bill.
But to get there, they're going to have to cut gas consumption by 50% in order to meet these goals.
Here's specifically what SB 32 requires. The state has to cut its greenhouse emissions 40% below the 1990 levels, and that has to be done by 2030, so just 14 years from now. The state has to cut by 40% the emission rates of 1990.
And what if they don't? What happens? Does somebody go to jail?
They are hell-bent on getting electric cars out there. They're going to try to force the dealerships
and
to sell them.
that will be a big piece to this.
Well, yes, but you can't force people to buy them.
No, unless they're like $10, and you put up 1 million charging stations. And it says here, I think you talked about this last week, John, they want to cut back the cow farts.
Yes, did they talk about
emissions.
that? They wanted to regulate cow farts?
No, it just says in the Times that will probably be involved in carrying out or implementing the goal that Andrew
Except
mentioned.
there's no way to do that.
There was a second bill that he signed. There were two as part of this signing, and the second one, as you referenced, gives lawmakers more power over the California Air Resources Board.
Right, because people were ticked the first go-around that the CARB had too much power.
Right, but the legislature believes in the same insanity that CARB does. So
all right, Andrew, we got to go. We're going to talk more about this when we come back. Andrew Mullenbeck from KFI News covering crazy Jerry Brown today, getting really worked up over climate change and this new legislation.
John and Ken, KFI, Deborah Marquez News.